So we need to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio. From the heartthrob we all loved in the Titanic to maybe becoming just downright creepy. Do you think there may be some warning signs we all missed due to his good looks? How's it going, Ayo? I'm your host Bridget Shields.
And I'm your newest host Lauren Mank, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 Leonardo DiCaprio warning signs we didn't notice.
Number 10, the hidden movie. Back in the 90s, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire made a movie with their friends. Then for decades they tried to keep it from seeing the light of day, and there's a very good reason for that. The movie is called Don's Plum, and it's been banned from ever being shown in the US and Canada. It was shot over 6 days between July of 1995 and March of 1996, and it was all in black and white. The film tells the story of a group of 20-something guys who gather every Saturday night at an LA diner, and each time they bring with them a new girl. The storyline is rampant with misogyny and violence against women. At one point, Leo's character Derek threatens to throw a glass bottle at a woman and yells obscenities at her to scare her away. The trouble is that the dialogue is entirely improvised, which makes it seem like the vulgarity we hear in the movie is something that the actors regularly say. This is why Leo and Tobey turned their backs on the project when it was completed, because they were concerned about how they were being portrayed. Both of them fought to keep the film from ever being screened, which eventually resulted in a $10 million lawsuit and the film being banned in the country.
At number 9, we have the Malaysian money scandal. Leonardo's very unusual foundation, not shockingly called the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. He is known to throw huge star-studded events for his charity. His first event was held in St. Tropez in the summer of 2014. Predicted to be the event of the year, an email was sent out to convince people to come and support the gala. By attending and supporting the event, you will not only be a part of what will without a doubt be the most glamorous, talked about, exclusive events of the summer, but even more importantly, your support will go directly to saving the earth. Leonardo created this event to collect donations for global conservation efforts, to protect oceans, forests, wildlands, and endangered species. But would you have guessed that the same day in the US, a complaint was filed suggesting DiCaprio might be a player in the world's largest embezzlement cases? $3 million was siphoned from a Malaysian wealth fund. I definitely would never have thought. Never named but only called Hollywood actor one, it makes us want to deep dive a bit further into what this charity might actually be doing. Looks like the star didn't set up his charity as a non-for-profit, but as a donor-advised fund. A journalist from Inside Philanthropy says, "It's difficult to characterize the giving that DiCaprio Foundation is doing because its status is part of the CCF, the California Community Foundation. It makes it impossible to look at its finances." Leonardo in the end was very supportive of the government and in the aids to figure out how this happened, agreeing to pay back the money taken. Regardless, it still is pretty sketchy.
Number 8, the girlfriend graph. Several years ago, someone on Reddit created a graph that shows us all the ages of Leo's ex-girlfriends, and it has been circulating on social media ever since. The graph suggests that his oldest girlfriends have been 25 years old or younger, and the average age of them is 22.9 years old. The chart spans more than 20 years of his relationships, from 1999 to 2023, and it's recently got an update. Leo divided the internet once again when pictures emerged of him attending a party with his potential new girlfriend, 19-year-old Israeli model Eden Polani. They are not confirmed to be a couple, but if the two of them are really dating, this means that they would have a 29-year age gap, which is absolutely insane. If we take another look at the graph, we can see that most of his public relationships all took place when the women were in their early 20s, specifically between the ages of 20 and 24, including his famous relationship with Gisele Bunchen. Leo has also dated the model Bar Raffaelli until 2010, the year she turned 25, Kelly Roback in 2015, the year she turned 25, and Nina Agdal from 2016 to 2017, also the year that she celebrated her 25th birthday. So there's definitely a bit of a pattern there.
At number 7, we have Gigi Hadid. Let's talk about this strange and very quick relationship with model Gigi Hadid. Sparking dating rumors in August 2022, they seem to keep things pretty under wraps. The source was quoted telling In Touch at the time, "Leo and Gigi have hooked up a few times this summer. They have known each other for several years and they're super attracted to each other," also explaining how casual they were keeping it. Fans immediately were curious at this somewhat random and quick relationship the two had formed, also wondering if Leo would change his ways from under 25-year-olds to Gigi's 27, which we know has been definitely tough for the star. The two were spotted for a few months up until Leo had seemingly moved on. When asked about it, Gigi said it was purely because she couldn't keep up with Leo's on-the-go lifestyle, but it leaves us to wonder, was Gigi just a rebound for Leo's recent ex, Camila Monroe?
Number 6. The Sony Hack. In 2014, the emails of former Sony chairperson Amy Pascal were leaked, and it really shone a bad light on a lot of A-list celebrities. And of course, Leo was also exposed in the scandal. The leak revealed that he isn't exactly popular among some studio executives. Apparently, filmmakers were desperate to cast him as Steve Jobs in the 2015 biopic, but the role ultimately went to Michael Fassbender. In fact, one email that was particularly cringy showed an agent called Robert Newman pleading with him to take the role. He wrote, "Just as you must surely feel great pride in helping bring Marty his Oscar on The Departed, everyone involved in this production desperately wants to help bring you the Academy Award you so richly deserve." He was basically pandering to his ego and trying to convince Leo that he would finally get his Oscar if he played Steve Jobs, but it was no use because he rejected his offer. When Amy Pascal heard that he didn't want to be in the biopic, she wrote a scathing email to producer Mark Gordon, where she called the actor despicable and accused him of horrible behavior. The hack also exposed personal information including salaries and home addresses of current employees, and those who stopped working at Sony as far back as 2000. Overall, the leak was a complete disaster.
Number 5. Let's talk about Adam Ferrar, Leonardo's estranged stepbrother on his dad's side. Adam performed in a couple minor roles in various movies and commercials, but it just didn't take off for him like it did for his brother. Leo said that the two were super close growing up, but lately they're not on speaking terms. This is most likely due to the fact that Adam has had multiple issues with the law. According to Adam, Leo ignores all of his calls and messages. He has also been told to say that he believes Leo's success has been the issue that has gotten between them. Many fans seem to speculate that this could not be the case, and Leo has distanced himself from his brother because of his ongoing struggles with narcotics and other criminal activities. Others say that Leo does not want to give money to his brother, who seems to struggle with handling it. Regardless, Adam has been said to look to rekindle their relationship, to start new, but it appears Leo has zero interest anymore.
Number 4. Private jet use. Although Leo is considered one of the most outspoken environmentalists when it comes to fighting climate change, his behavior tells a different story. According to Forbes, the actor is an avid user of private jets, and he's responsible for a ton of the carbon emissions that he spoke about in his 2016 Oscars speech. Forbes exposed him big time and said that the notion that his carbon emissions are 11 tons per year is nonsense, because a carbon footprint is a lot higher for people who use private jets. In fact, celebrities who travel like this typically emit 480 times more CO2 than those who don't use jets. His past fuel-powered travels included 6 round trips on private jets over the course of just 6 weeks in 2014. Sony Pictures Studios arranged for him to take a private jet from California to New York during the period between April and May of that year. The report found that in that same year, he traveled more than 20 times across the US and the globe. And once, within the span of a day, he took a round-trip private flight from Miami to New York for a charity event. Not only that, but he owns multiple homes and has partied on the 5th largest yacht in the world.
Number 3. His arrogant attitude. The late 90s and early 2000s really were something for Leonardo, who was then in his 20s. He has been known to have a large and pretty aggressive party and kind of childlike attitude, reportedly throwing grapes from his hotel room on paparazzi photographers, as well as throwing trash at oncoming cars on the Brooklyn Promenade. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know anyone in their 20s that acts like that. The Guardian also reports that Leo once even threw horse manure at a paparazzi in the 2000s. This would have been his mid-20s. People have repeatedly said that New York itself was just Leo's playground. Another incident of Leo just not being the person we all hoped he was gonna be. In the early 2000s, both Leo and his friend Jay Ferguson bombarded Elizabeth Berkley from Saved by the Bell, so much that she would have to call her boyfriend at the time just to get the two to back off. This is obviously not what we want to hear from the star everyone once loved in the Titanic. Even when the parade noticed what a small role woman had in the movie he starred in, The Reverend, he responded with, "This represents the savagery of a lawless culture. Women have been the most persecuted people throughout the recorded history, more than any race or religion," which is a little bit ironic.
Number 2 supports controversial people. When Weinstein was exposed for his crimes, Leo was quick to condemn the disgraced producer and stand up for his victim. But eventually, it was revealed that his charity foundation auctioned off events with him, as well as with Kevin Spacey, who is currently facing the prospect of jail time time in the UK for alleged cases of SA. In 2018, Page 6 released a report claiming that Leo's foundation auctioned off intimate moments with two of Hollywood's biggest creeps. In 2015, the auction in the south of France let guests bid to spend an entire year hanging out with Weinstein. The experience offered the winner the chance to go to dinner with him, accompany him to the Met Gala, and join him on a film set. And in 2016, the charity offered to have Kevin Spacey conduct a private theater performance in someone's home, which in hindsight sounds a little bit weird. Now, it's worth noting that these packages came out way before these men were exposed for their predatory ways. But then again, you also have to consider the fact that these allegations were something of an open secret in Hollywood for years, and still no one cut ties with them until people started speaking out.
And at number 1, we have his fake environmentalism. Leonardo has been involved in many charities and organizations which are aimed at protecting our environment, some even being the World Wildlife Fund and the Global Green USA. He has had some run-ins with other environmentalists who have been concerned about his sincerity about protecting our planet. Leo took to Twitter to bash Brazil's environmental minister, saying his government has taken the destruction of the Amazon to an unbearable level, with the minister responding, "Brazil is launching Adopt One Park Preservation Project, which allows you or any other company or individual to pick one of the 132 parks in the Amazon and directly sponsor it for €10 per hectare per year. Are you going to put your money where your mouth is?" Leading to no response on Twitter from the actor, many call the actor a complete environmental hypocrite with the way he acts versus what he actually proceeds to do in his day-to-day life. I mean, you have to admit, it's a bit tough to preach environmentalism from a private yacht.
Alright guys, that's all we have for you in this video. Hope you guys liked it.
Thank you so much for watching.